All right, it's good to have you join us this lovely afternoon. It's Talking Points on Splash FM here in the city of Ibadan. Welcome. You know the deal. Let's get talking about things that affect us as a people. And we're back again today. It's Thursday afternoon. I am Michael Olatunbosun, and always a good time to come to the microphone and gleefully discuss matters that affect all of us as a people. So today, what's on the table? Quite a number of things on the table. I just got back from a book launch. The book, Power, Politics, and People's Welfare. The Magnetron Technology, a New Window in Power Generation, written by Mr. Alamu Mudayeni. And just a few minutes ago, I just left the place, and quite a number of issues, came from our conversation around the book. I was the reviewer of the book. Of course, I have taken sips and perpetual sips from the book, and I've seen the nitty-gritty of the concerns of the author. And one of those elements we bring to the table this afternoon. I have my sparring partner, if you like, with me in the studio. And I'm talking about Oluwagbemiga Adegoke. Gbemiga Goke.
Michael, Arakunrin Goke.
Okay, Arakunrin. Welcome to the program.
It's today. Always my pleasure to be here, Michael.
We were together at the book launch.
Again, we were together.
Okay, so just a few things we'll talk about, concerning the book. Of course, I know that you listened to the review, and basically, I would like to ask you your major, takeaway from the conversations that we had about that book and about society's attitude towards scientists, inventors, and innovators in a moment. I'll come back to that conversation in a moment. But before we go there, let's quickly just look at some items in the news for this afternoon, and then just see if we could, craft conversations from them, and then invite members of the audience into the fray. Okay, so the basic thing is that one of those key issues for me is that Jusun, for instance, the judicial workers insist on their strike. Okay, so there's something in the Punch newspaper of this afternoon. I'd like to read it. Federal government cancels meeting with striking poly lecturers, judiciary workers. The federal government has cancelled the planned meetings with the striking polytechnic lecturers and judiciary workers scheduled for today, Thursday. No reason was given for the cancellation of the parleys, which were meant to get the members of the Academic Staff Union of Polytechnics and the Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria to call off their indefinite strike action. The spokesperson, Minister of Labour and Employment, Mr. Charles Akpan, confirmed in a text message that the meetings had been shelved. The poly workers are demanding the implementation of the 2014 NEETS report, the release of the revitalization fund to the sector, reconstitution of governing councils in federal polytechnics and state-owned institutions, and among other things. Jusun, on the other hand, is asking for financial autonomy for the judiciary and the implementation of Executive Order 10, signed by President Muhammadu Buhari in May of last year. Okay, so, let's start with the last one. The judiciary workers going on strike to press for the implementation of this financial autonomy for the judiciary. The president, of course, signed an executive order 10, yes, last year. I'm bothered by, maybe I should put it in the form of a question. If you consider the fact that we are told, and in principle and in practice really, that you have three arms of government. You have the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. You'd expect that they have equal measure of autonomy. The executive is autonomous. The judiciary is the legislature is also autonomous because they draw from the budget directly from the federation account. They draw their own allocation as well. It doesn't happen for the judiciary, and a lot of people are saying, including analysts, are saying that this is not good for democracy.
Of course.
I'd like to take your thoughts on this.
Of course, it is not good for our democracy, and it is unfortunate. You know why growing up we were taught that the judiciary, the executive, and the third tier of government, the legislature, they have roles to play. They have autonomous power. But of course, that is not the case. And it's quite unfortunate that judiciary people are now going on strike in this country. You signed a bill just last year, if I'm not wrong, just last year. And now you have issues implementing the bill that you signed just last year. Quite unfortunate. And if you check the Constitution 1999 as amended, Section 21, subsection 3, Section 8, 81, subsection 3, also back this financial autonomy that they are crying for. Of course, it saddens me that I'm using the word crying. Because you cry for something, maybe something you desperately, but it is their right.
It is in the law. That,
it is in the law.
Said. So why
must we always have issues? The truth of the matter is, we have it in the law, they've not been implementing it. Now they have an executive order, and the executive order, you find it hard to even implement it. So exactly, where are we heading to? I've always been saying that there's a need for us to sit and discuss where exactly is Nigeria going to. And it's quite unfortunate. You scheduled a meeting with them and you are cancelling the meeting. I hope the other parties are aware that you are cancelling the meeting, and someone is saying you replied via text message. Are we really serious at all? We're talking about people that are in the act of making laws. It's quite unfortunate for me.
All right, so this one says 60 billion naira controversy. Stop playing the ostrich. Obaseki tells federal government. Godwin Obaseki, Edo State Governor, has advised the federal government to quickly end the current financial rascality so as to prevent the economy from further degeneration instead of playing the ostrich about the parlous state of the nation's economy. Obaseki's advice concerning coming in the wake of the denial by the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, that any money was printed to top up revenue allocation for March is an indication that the last might not have been heard about the accusation levied by the governor that the federal government printed 60 billion naira to top up the March allocation. Obaseki, the originator of the claim, on Thursday advised the federal government to stop playing the ostrich over the parlous state of the nation's economy. You recall that the governor had earlier this week disclosed that at the Federation Account Allocation Committee FAC meeting for March, the federal government printed additional 50 to 60 billion naira to top up for the states, the local government areas, and the federal government to share. Minister of Finance, however, denied that any amount of money was printed and insisted that what was shared in the month of March was generated revenue. So you have this back and forth. I remember that someone was arguing big time with me on Tuesday, I guess. And that person also sent me a newspaper rebuttal. But you see, some of these things, the governor is here saying, stop playing ostrich.
The governor knows what he's saying. He has his facts. And let's not forget that this is a sitting governor that is aware of the things that are being run in the ministry. Is aware of the fact that they go to the federal government to take money every month. So the truth of the matter is I'm not even concerned, because the truth of the matter is, Michael, I'm not surprised that the federal government are now coming and argue. It's expected. That has always been the game that they play. But the truth of the matter is, our nation is suffering. Our economy is suffering. Exactly. Because we must check all of these things. Economically, we are not doing well. It is visible to the blind. It is audible to the deaf. So we should stop all this game and concentrate more on generating funds. The governor knows what he's saying. He has his facts. So if he's stating it, is an authority. And of course, the Ministry of Finance too, held by Mrs. Ahmed, she also knows what she's saying too. But we all know. We might not know the truth here, but we know that our economy is not doing well. That's the truth that I know.
The Vanguard reports that story this way. Breaking. Obaseki fires back at Finance Minister over denial of printed 60 billion naira. Okay, so we'll leave that to the experts and those who have, ideas, or who have, idea of what's going on behind the curtains. We'll allow them to, just give us the analysis. But then, that's what's in the newspapers. The Nigerian Tribune here reports Lautech emerges outstanding state university. Ladoke Akintola University, Ogbomoso, Oyo State has emerged the Outstanding State-Owned University of the Year. This was declared at the Southwest Nigeria Excellence Awards, SNE Awards program, which was held through the virtual means on Friday last week. The outstanding list, the Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, Osun State, emerged the Outstanding Public University of the Year, while Gregory University, Abia State, was named as the Outstanding Private University. According to a statement by the Chairman, Screening Committee for the Southwest Nigeria Excellence Awards, Reverend Honey Olawale, the program was organized by the Southwest, Northwest, and Southeast Awards, Nigeria Regional Socio-Economic Assessment Body, in collaboration with the South African-based Africa Skills Center. A total of 27 dons won the award of Outstanding Lecturer of the Year, while many other distinguished Nigerians emerged as ambassadors of education. Okay, so I quickly like to say something about these awards. Let's see. It says that it added that Professor Ladokun Olushola of the Lead City University, Ibadan, Professor Ajayi Adetutu of the Augustine University, Professor Babatunde Ajayi of the Federal University of Technology, Akure, and 20 other lecturers were honored at the Outstanding Lecturers category. So, LAUTECH in the news again. LAUTECH has always been, winning awards. There must be something special about LAUTECH.
Well, I'm happy listening to this news because LAUTECH is doing well. We should applaud them. But of course, there is more to be done. As far as I'm concerned, they will now know that Oyo State government, we are now the proprietor of LAUTECH now. We are so happy for it. We are happy that the people are doing well, but we want more to be done. We want the students to do more. We want the lecturers to do more, the management, the council to do more for us to have a good education system there in the school. So, of course, I'm giving it to LAUTECH. Nice one.
Nice one. Okay, so the Oyo State also, scores, good grades here.
Yeah, the governor will be happy to listen to news like this. Not only now that we have LAUTECH to ourselves in Oyo State.
All right, it's still talking points on Splash FM here in the city of Ibadan. Commercial break. When we come back, we'll talk about a nation at war against innovators. When we come back.
Splash FM 105.5.
Ìyá bọ̀lì àǹtí, ìyá bọ̀lì ètò, ìyá bọ̀lì tèmi nìkan ṣoṣo. Má sá mi pa. Wetin you want? Abeg, when you go market, I really need more Maggi chicken. Maggi chicken gangan ni o.
Ewo tún ni Maggi chicken gangan?
Na the real Maggi chicken. Maggi ẹlẹ́dìyẹ. If you no sabi the difference, make I tell you. Dem write Maggi chicken flavour seasoning on top the bag. Maggi chicken flavour, e dey give food ogbonge taste, colour and aroma wey go totori you. O ṣá mọ̀ pé ní tèmi dùn.
O ṣé, ìyá Risi of life.
Yes, ke. When asking for seasoning, ask for the real Maggi chicken flavour. Maggi chicken flavour gangan ní kẹ́ bèrè fún. Pẹ̀lú Maggi, ẹ ṣe oúnjẹ tó dá yàtọ̀. Chidi, na where you dey go dey jump road up and down?
Na papa say make I buy am Shakis.
Shagini? Oh, I don tell this man say make you no dey send this boy buy alcohol na. Papa Chidi, abeg no dey send this pikin buy Shakis o.
Mama Chidi, why na? No be buy I say make him buy. Make I no dey send a message again.
Papa Chidi, you no know say na small before you go wan know how the thing dey taste, eh? And if that one come happen, when you come dey drink am, na big problem be that o.
E reach that one?
Yes, so Papa Chidi, e reach. Person wey never reach 18 no suppose touch alcohol. Papa Chidi, you hear me so? Even the Federal Ministry of Health talk say alcohol na for only person wey don reach 18.
Okay, I don hear. I no go send am again. In fact, make I go tell am myself. Chidi!
Now, Distillers and Blenders Association of Nigeria, DBAN, will be subsector of Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, bring on this message.
Ibadan! 9 Mobile 4G LTE has landed and we are in for the time of our lives. Streaming matches will never be the same. Video calls will be clearer than ever. Work will be so smooth, it won't feel like work. That's smooth.
Yes, Ibadan! Enjoy browsing with quality 4G LTE on 9 mobile data plans. Get 2 GB plus free access to social media for 500 naira, 7 GB plus free access to social media for 1,500 naira, and 3.5 GB free data for night streaming on select monthly data plans of 1,000 naira and above. Dial *200*3*1# to get started. T's and C's apply. 9 Mobile.
mo ní adùn ẹ̀ lékè ká ní ó rẹwà. Tó mọ nǹkan tó ń sẹ́. Má máa bá mi jiyàn sẹ́.
Kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀?
Wo ara tuntun tí wọ́n ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ dá sí ara ohun mímu làkàṣẹ́rà. Báyọ̀ sọ wípé ó rẹwà gan. Èmi sọ wípé ẹwà ẹ̀ kọjá bẹ́ẹ̀ àti pé adùn ẹ̀ sì tún lékè ká. Ọ̀rọ̀ tá à ń fàmọ́ra lọ́wọ́ nìyẹn o.
Ó yá mo wá kí n wò ó.
Àdúró náà kí ló dá o jẹ fẹ́ mú tán.
Adùn èso ápùlù tí ò lábùlà. Àmì ìdánimọ̀ tuntun méjèèjì ló ń lu papọ̀. Làkàsẹ́rà ti wá kọjá bẹ́ẹ̀. Jẹ̀gbádùn èso ápùlù ohun mímu inú làkàsẹ́rà. Ìgbádùn tí ò lábùlà. Adùn rẹ̀ yàtọ̀ gedegbe. Àwọ̀ rẹ̀ sì tún fani mọ́ra. Jẹ̀gbádùn aláìláfiwé nínú ohun mímu làkàsẹ́rà. Ó yàtọ̀. Mò ń gbádùn ẹ̀ gan-an ni o.
Hantech Markets is an award-winning financial technology company with over 30 years' worth of experience as we connect our clients to the global financial markets. Are you a working class, student, employed, unemployed, existing traders, or newbie? Do you have a smartphone or a laptop? Are you looking for an alternative source of income in a time like this? Wow! Take advantage of the flexible online trading, namely basic, intermediary, advanced, and mentorship classes as we use our robust educational tools to analyze the market. To participate, kindly text name, location to 0805 690 5612. That is 0805 690 5612. For more info, log on to www.hmarkets.com and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Hantech_Africa. Hantech Markets. Trust through transparency.
Uncle Dentist, wetin be cavities and how Colgate take dey protect my teeth from cavities? Shey e dey use comfort?
No dear, na hole for teeth dey cause most tooth pain wey be cavity. But if you use Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection take brush every day, the confirmed formula go help keep natural calcium inside our teeth wey go protect them from tooth decay.
Time don reach to upgrade to the world's most chosen toothpaste, Colgate, because Colgate locks calcium in.
Now, the Nigerian Dental Association, they recommend Colgate.
My name na Patito, I be first class truck driver.
Yes, it's Panadol Extra Caplets. Panadol Extra is now also available in a smaller pack of 4 caplets at only 50 naira. Same Panadol Extra Caplets that relieves headache, backache, muscle ache, menstrual pain, and toothache. If it's not Panadol, it's not the same thing as Panadol. If symptoms persist after 2 days, consult a doctor. Panadol Extra contains paracetamol and caffeine. Not recommended in pregnancy.
Oh yes.
Slash 105.5 FM. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ti gbọ́ wa kẹ̀tẹ̀kẹ̀tẹ̀. Ẹ tún láǹfààní àti ojú wò.
It's still talking points on Splash FM here in the city of Ibadan. Welcome back. Okay, so I told you that we will be talking about a nation at war with innovations and innovators. Okay, so I told you that I was reviewer of the book Power, Politics and People's Welfare: The Magnetron Technology, a New Window in Power Generation. The author is Alamu Mudayeni. Was published this year, 2020, just launched today. 95-page book published by the Austin Macaulay Publishers, London. A few things I will bring about the book, but before that, I'd like to bring Goki to the microphone. We were there together today.
Yeah.
I need you to give me your impression of that event, really.
Number one, I actually learned some lessons today. And secondly, I was sad, Michael.
Why?
Yeah. Firstly, I learned a lesson not to just overlook anybody. Mm-hmm. You know, when we entered the place and I was asking you, who is the man that is launching the book? And you showed me the author of the book. I was surprised. Because this man was just simple and just there for me. And that was when I remember that men of gold don't always wear gold.
Wow.
But when you scratch them, you know that they are made of gold. I was very, very impressed looking at the man. Secondly, I was disappointed.
Why?
The title of the book is Power, Politics, and People's Welfare. We were talking about how we can get electricity right in the country, not only in Nigeria, not only in Africa, in the whole world.
Yeah.
He was talking about it. And I actually I was expecting that maybe all these organizations, maybe government parastatals will come around to come and look at this man's invention and his theory, to come and look at it and let's see how we can apply it to our problem of electricity in the country. But I was surprised, not one. Again, I told you that I was sad. Secondly, see, our nation has now gotten to a point in which intellectual work like this are now subjected to just book launch, just to raise money for the man, which is so unfortunate. Thirdly, he was talking about a major problem that we face in this country. We were talking about it, and the people that were below the age 30, I can't count 5 today. All I see were old men. Former president, CCI, former this thing, former this thing, Ibadan Foundation. You were there. I was surprised.
There's no young person.
There's no young person. So what are we talking about the future of this nation when something like this is going on? I was surprised that the body of academicians are not even there. For Christ's sake, we were talking about innovation. And you know, while we were coming back, I was telling you that what ends all of our research in the university?
You see, you just bind the project, 4 copies. You bind 4 copies of your project and it's dumped
maybe
somewhere.
One to the faculty, one to the department, one for your HOD, then one for you. And that's the end.
And that's the end. And then it's in the shops.
I was speaking with someone. I said, tell me one economical problem, societal problem, one cultural problem that somebody have not done for his or her final year project.
Exactly. And they are in the library.
They are in the library. They're just lying. Doing nothing. And after some years, they gather them at the back of the department, then burn them away.
Or they give them out, and then you see when you buy groundnut, when you buy kuli and boli, you see your project.
How do we sustain
it's not funny. It's not funny because I know that countries of the world that have shot up there, that have advanced in everything, use knowledge.
Exactly.
And in fact, knowledge economy is the economy of the moment.
That is the economy of the moment. Knowledge, what do you know? How can you solve the problem that we have? Because I was looking at all that this man discussed. Power, politics, people welfare. Michael, I cannot rate Nigeria 40 over 100 in all of this, in these 3 sectors. And this man took 20 years of his life
to do research.
To do a research concerning this. This man is 76 years. I'm surprised. 76. He was a special assistant to the governor in the short-lived administration of Dr. Omololu Loyo. And you see the caliber of people that are there. Researchers. Of course, I love the way you coined it. A nation at war against innovation and innovators. Inventors. So what exactly are we doing? I don't know where Nigeria is heading to, but I'm sad. Of course, it's a time for me to be happy because somebody like that can be so committed. I was questioned too. What am I doing to make sure that Nigeria becomes a better place for us to live?
Let me just read a bit of my review of the book. He started by talking about how America and Russia were struggling or competing to conquer space. And after they had conquered space, the excitement died down. Okay, so we have conquered space. What next? And then the president at that time looked back and said, we need to take care of our people. So based on that, let me read here now. It says, the author now says this American example of focused, responsive governance, typical of other governments in Europe and the Far East, is an eye-opener to political leaders in charge of state affairs, especially in Black Africa, where nothing seems to work for lack of foresight, inspiration, social responsibility, and personal integrity of leaders. In such bedeviled countries of the Black continent in particular, leadership must change from the insipid set of psychotic treasury looters to an enlightened, service-oriented crop of administrators. This author believes that when you achieve this, that is, making sure that you use your mind, your foresight and vision to bring about innovation and also mesh with scientists and innovators and inventors, then you'll be able to get what you call development. In fact, sustainable development for your people. And you can then extend it to the world. His own invention was is called the SS magnetron. Basically, an invention to generate electricity in a much safer way than what we do have now. This idea of generating electricity from fossil fuel has its own, challenges as well. Environmental issues, greenhouse gases, and the rest of it. So this SS magnetron for him, it is to, perform an hybrid, for instance, of silently generating power and also getting safer air for all of us to breathe in this nation and in this world exactly. So the author is apparently preoccupied with glaring failure of leadership on the African continent to make a mixture of knowledge, science, innovation, and selfless service work to emancipate the continent. Now, one big question for me, which he mentioned in the book as well, is that you have a horde of research institutions, even in Oyo State here. In fact, I understand that in Ibadan, basically you have more research institutions than all other parts of the country. How much of their research and innovation are we using, and what are we using them for? That's a big question, isn't it?
Exactly.
Okay, but I had a conversation with Mr. Lamumuda Ayeni recently when I read his book and featured him on Book Splash. I will repeat that interview sometime soon, but I need you to listen to just a patch of that interview. This conversation with Mr. Lamumuda Ayeni concerning that book, and really basically about why leadership has not been able to drive development in this part of the world. Listen to him. I see that in the first part of the book, you preoccupied your time, talking about making life meaningful for the people.
Yeah.
And you put that responsibility at the door of governance and leadership.
Yeah.
You think that the leadership in Africa has failed the African people to the extent that most, if not all, of our discoveries and inventions were done by people from the West who traveled from their own domains to come here and discover things in our backyard.
Exactly.
I've also been wondering why the typical black man is like this.
That's a very thorny question. Funny in the sense that we have as many perceptions of our minds as there are human beings. But basically, the typical African sense of perception is self-centeredness. We rarely think of service to humanity in general. That's our basic problem. And, in our contemporary living style, what we are concerned with is how to gain the most. In terms of investment, for example, the typical African man does not want to invest on anything which does not bring immediate benefit. That is essentially different from the spirit of those from the West. They take a lot of trouble to explore, unknown seas and see what they can get out of it. If we go back to ordinary history, you know that the exploration from their own native land into African shores was carried out by initially seafarers who had the courage to weather the storm and see what they could get out of it. And that is the spirit of adventure. Here we need the same kind of spirit before we can achieve much.
The spirit of adventure is also reflected in your work. In this book, you were talking about the fact that we're not paying attention to invention, initiative.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, we seem to have, left the whole sphere of invention to people who are basically science people.
Yes.
And you contend in this work that an inventor does not necessarily have to be a science person, but somebody who is just curious and the flair.
Exactly.
That's basically your thought in this work.
Yes.
I like that thought. I want to push forward here. You were talking here about the fact that we don't have a sense of leadership in the direction of innovation. You said this lack of knowledgeable leadership has been responsible for the mass of confusion concerning who exactly is a scientist, and the consequent inability to distinguish between paper qualification and the innate quality has always led to the enthronement of mediocrity in the place of merit. And basically that is what you have from top to bottom in Africa.
That's true.
Are we going to get out of this?
Well, we only pray, but we have to start somewhere. Otherwise, there will be no end to the suffering.
For you, the unbridled astronomical population growth in Nigeria, coupled with large-scale unemployment and the atmosphere of live and let die, are combining to create a low tempo of economic development, crime, and inevitable space-age primitivity. So you believe that our population, if uncontrolled, is going to put us into trouble.
Sure.
Of course, the reflections are already here: the banditry, the crime, the kidnapping, the terrorism, and the rest of it.
Yes.
But it looks like the people in government are still living in denial.
As far back as 1979-80, I published the book How a Mother Sleep. That book x-rayed the problems of Nigeria and the causes, and offered or preferred solutions. But you see, as I told you, we don't have the kind of dynamic leadership. Most African states are governed by people I would call despots. Despots in the sense that most of them are concerned with only their own interest, without any hope or any thought of assisting the ordinary people. They don't care. And as long as we have people like that in the leadership, we will continue to have the problems.
A lot of people say that we get the leadership that we deserve.
Well, that's one apt description of the situation.
So how did we get to that juncture?
You see, to give an illustration of that particular expression, if people people deserve the government that they have. We are supposed to be running a democracy, for example. In a democracy, at least on paper, in theory, you choose people whom you believe that will govern you well, and you do so voluntarily. If, in the process of doing that, you come out with a leader who turns out to be either a thief or an uncaring leader, then you cannot blame God or anybody for that kind of leadership.
So how do we cure ourselves of this malady?
Well, through education, through enlightenment, by telling our people what to do in order to reap what you expect. If, like the typical Nigerian electoral system, people queue up and they are giving money, they say, vote for party 1, vote for party 2. If they vote on the basis of the little peanuts they are given, they will eventually become slaves under that kind of leadership, because they will be used and then later dumped to their own peril. So that's the problem. But if we're able to enlighten or educate our people that, first of all, you have to consider your own tomorrow before you vote for anybody. What you vote with, the people you vote for now, will have an impact on the generation of your own children, and that's the problem. So unless through such public enlightenment, and then, as I hinted there, reversal of our educational program, we continue to have that problem. There is a portion in that book where I referred to the British people, and I made a quotation out of one of their publications, Thinking Britain. In that pamphlet, they gave reasons why in the white environment there is room for innovation and invention.
We can make that happen here too.
But we have to be pushed, maybe by the whites.
That's a very damning verdict as well.
Yes, even though we claim that we have obtained independence from Britain, we still need them to push us before we do the right thing.
The book, Power, Politics and People's Welfare. What is your key message from this book for all of us?
The key message is that we have to brace up. We have been dormant long enough. And because of that dormancy, we are not achieving anything. You see, when we talk about progress, my Oga, not only lawyer, used to say that progress is in two directions, up and down, then in the horizontal. So before we can make appreciable progress, we have to brace up. We have to be ready to explore the unknown. We have to be ready to sacrifice. Until we do that, we remain standstill on the same spot.
Mr. Alamu Mudayeni, thank you for sharing your thoughts, sir.
I'm very grateful for the opportunity.
All right, it's still Talking Points on Splash FM here in the city of Ibadan. Brace up, explore, and sacrifice. 3 key items. But you see, quite a number of conversations on the table, before that conclusion in the conversation. You see, my takeaway from here is that we are primarily not interested in also choosing those who will, lead us to, the promised land, if there is any, for Nigeria. Really, I'm thinking that Nigeria is the promised land. We don't need somebody to lead us to that land. We just need somebody to make things happen,
make things right.
Yes.
I agree with you, Michael. I agree with you because this man mentioned something. Let me use this phrase. The old man mentioned something that is captivating me, the young man. Let me put it that way. But unfortunately, the things that he's lamenting about is the same thing that I'm lamenting about. He mentioned one thing very instructional, that if we are given the chance to elect people into government office and public office, and these are the same people that don't do it, it's not God's fault. It's not God's fault. It's not a spiritual problem. See, INEC don't count prayer points.
They count votes.
They count votes. And like I told you, I was at a program yesterday where we were discussing that we have democracy said we have the right to elect leaders, but we are not stressing the point that we have the right to remove. And let's ask ourselves, as citizens of your state, as citizens of Nigeria, what is the number one factor that qualifies somebody to have your vote?
All right, so we may just turn that to a question for those who are listening to us. Okay, so talk to us now. Anything that you are drawing from this conversation, for instance, my conversation with Alamumuda Ayeni, or the conversation we had earlier, 08091551055, 08056998678, and 07069493000. So if you'd like to call any of those 3 lines, all of them are alive and kicking. Just key in the numbers and then we'll respond to you from this end. 0809-155-1055, 0805-699-8678, and 07069493000. Caller here. Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mike.
Good afternoon, sir.
How are you today?
I'm very good.
Yeah, my name is Citizen Samuel from Greenwood.
Citizen Samuel.
I think the man who wrote the book has said everything. What you don't understand, our vote does not count for who become president. It was not the vote. Oh yes, they don't use our vote. They rig the election.
Do you think I will agree with you? I've covered the elections in this country now for probably about 14, 15 years. So I know that people go out to vote and they count the votes.
They take out that election. People are giving money up unashamedly, openly.
Is that the fault of those who count the votes?
Because it's the fault of Nigeria. It's the poverty level in this country. Because of 2,000, we go against their conscience and we vote. Why can't we go electronically? They put that bill before the president in the last election. He said it was 2 years after, he has not signed that bill. So people are trying manipulating their people, going down sentiments and using religion and to educate their masses. That's why I tell you the name they are doing now is to legalize the Fulani that came from outside Nigeria to this country, so that they can vote in 2023 and manipulate the election.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for calling. And now let's see another caller here. Hello, good afternoon. Hello. Hello. Okay. Hello. Okay, I lost that call again. If you can, 0809-155-1055, 0805-699-8678, and 07069493000. See if we can get a call or two into the fray on the program today. Talking points on Splash FM. Okay, so this idea of counting votes and votes counting.
How many of us go out to vote?
Okay, so
maybe that's another discussion.
Another caller here. Hello, good afternoon. Hello. Hello. Okay. Another caller here. Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Michael.
Good afternoon, sir.
Are you Baba from Apata?
Yes, sir.
I want to commend the author of that book. But the most unfortunate is that Nigerians don't read. We don't read at all. This is one of the books we should be reading, especially our leaders. But they won't read. Immediately you leave University of Polytechnic, and they appoint you as a manager. That is the end of it. So that is one. And you were arguing with the first caller that our vote counts. Michael, don't deceive yourself. Our vote does not count. Now, no, it's not a joking matter.
Okay, I'm
you
here.
See, inconclusive election, inconclusive every time. You see, and what is the cause of inconclusive? Somebody will come to the polling booth, shoot here and there, take the ballot box. At the end of the day, it's inconclusive.
Is that person the person in government or one of us?
All of us. Leadership problem. And in that book, the man was talking right. In fact, I like the way. In fact, I want to know the title of the book, but I want to buy it.
Okay, so the book is called Power, Politics, and People's Welfare. The author is Alamumuda Ayeni.
All right,
yes.
Very good.
Yes.
I would recommend it for all the so-called leaders because they are so-called. We did not even appoint them in the first place. We did not even elect them. So, but they have put themselves there. Let them go and read the book so that they can have the skill to be able to know what to do. Because some of them, you see, Michael, you know one thing? You can only give what you have. Everything in that book, they don't have it. And you want them to give it. They don't have it. I no apology for that. They don't have it at all.
Okay.
See, it's unfortunate that we are being ruled by somebody with people with attestation, not even certificate. Thank you. Good afternoon.
Thank you very much for calling, Mr. Ayobabayemi. We have to go most definitely. Let's see if we can get this caller in. Hello. All right. I guess that caller is not ready. Hello. Good afternoon. Hello. Hello. Good afternoon. Can we do this in 1 minute, please? Mr. Falodu, let's talk. Yes, sir. Very quickly, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. To me personally, I think the country, President Buhari met what I call a very, very confusing country. And unfortunately, he also complicated it. That's what you see happen. And the reason why he complicated it is that Mr. President was operating under unusual circumstances. The constitution we are operating is not working. He only promotes personal interest, and that's why we are here today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A promotion of personal interests, because the constitution, is leaky, if you like to allow that expression. Okay, so we will get this conversation back sometime soon. I'd like to just say that you should do everything within your power to make this nation better, really. It's our nation. Let's make our votes count, really. There are ways of making our votes count. We will talk about those, yes, sometime soon as well. Degoke Oluwagbemiga, thank you for coming again.
It's always my pleasure. I'll do everything within my power to make the change start from me.
All right. My name is Michael Olatunbosun. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Splash FM 105.5.
Let me tell you something my father told me. Look at the stars.